Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So good to have you with us. My goodness, and there are a lot of you out there. I think we're at about 101 viewing screens, which I measure, 106 viewing screens, which I measure as about 130 people. So that's really wonderful, or more even. So, really great to have you all here in this worship space that we're creating together. So good to have you here. Um, just to set the record straight, I started in August, but it was 5 years ago and a bit. And so thank you so much. You have been such a blessing to me. My name is Joan Montagnes, and I have the honor and the privilege of being your minister. We are in a real live worship service, but it is in the Zoom platform. We don't want to call it a virtual worship anymore because it's a real worship service. And the thing about this Zoom platform is we're in a webinar, which means we can't see or hear you. You can't see or hear each other. You can hear and see our worship associate, the lovely Charlene Montgomery, and you can see me. You can also chat with each other all the way through the service. So, welcome everybody. So good to have you here. I want to thank, as I always do, because I am so grateful, Josh Disick, John Petroselli, especially. He's our tech for today. Justin DeClean, Karen Streech, Bobby Withrow, Paul Zanoli, and all our music staff who help create our worship experiences every single week. And a special guest star today. Thank you, Beth White. Some announcements because I know you love announcements. If you have not made your financial or stewardship pledge of financial commitment towards the 2021 budget year, we would love to receive it soon so we can wrap up our campaign. So far, we've collected 245,000 from 89 pledgers, and that's towards our goal of 400,000. I'll tell you now more than ever, our strong liberal religious voice needs to be heard in Elmwood Village, in our city streets, in City Hall, and all the way to Washington, D.C. Now's the time that we need to care for each other and the wider world. So please pledge early, pledge often. Special events are coming up. I am sad to say there will be no Transgender Day of Remembrance service because we had to cancel it for safety's sake during the pandemic. However, this week, there will be placing a memorial on our church lawn for the 34 transgender and non binary people who were murdered during 2020. So come and visit that, pay respects. It'll be up as soon as I can get it up this week. Next Sunday, we will be celebrating our Thanksgiving service where we will count our blessings and also reimagine and remember um, maybe some new things about Thanksgiving. If you remember, our preacher last week was the Reverend Clyde Grubbs, and he's put together some thoughts and reflections on that original Thanksgiving. But after the service, between 2 and 4 p.m., come to the church, pick up a jar. We're going to have a cranberry communion. So pick up a jar of lovingly made, homemade cranberry sauce made by Charlene Montgomery, Martha Malkowitz, and Mary Coleman. That cranberry sauce is all ready to grace your Thanksgiving table. And at this time, you'll also have the opportunity to share your gratitude and blessings by donating goods and or funds to the Evergreen Health Service Food Pantry. And a wish list of the things that the pantry wants is located in the E-Blast. Last announcement, following this service and every service, we have a Zoom fellowship time. Now that fellowship time is not part of this webinar. It is a meeting, and that means you'll be able to see and hear each other. Yay. And the address for that, look, there, it just popped up in the chat. Thank you, Bobby. And it's also going to be located in the last slide of this worship service and in the e-blast. And guess where? In the newsletter. So you can always get to the fellowship time and come and visit with your folks, see and hear them chat, have fun. And that's enough announcing, I think. Let's take a deep breath in. And let's worship.
Here we have come into this sacred space, quieter now with our readiness, hushed voices, hoping, trusting for so many things, for connection, for communion, for inspiration, for information, for healing, for wholeness, for words, for music, for celebration and consolation. Here we have come into this space, bringing all of who we are. Let us be willing, however we are changed. Come, let us worship.
When we begin our Sunday services and a lot of our other occasions when we come together to remind ourselves that we are in spiritual space together, we light a chalice. So let's join in our words of chalice lighting affirmation. We gather in loving community, inspiring one another to transform ourselves to create a more just and compassionate world.
Ce soir tout doux Bordeaux qui passe, les voir passer, tout doux se glisse un nuage à l'espace, les voir glisser, à l'horizon se forme trop de chaume. Le voir fumer
Once upon a time, there was an egg, and this is his story. Hello, I'm an egg. I'm a good egg. I'm a very good egg. It's true. I do all kinds of things like carry your groceries, I'll water your plants, I'll change your tires, I'll paint your house. If you need any help whatsoever, I'm your egg. I've always been a good egg. It's been this way from the beginning, even from my earliest days way back in the store. There were a dozen of us living together under one recycled roof. There was Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelley and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank. The other 11 eggs weren't on their best behavior. They weren't exactly good. They ignored their bedtime. They ate only sugary cereal. They threw temper tantrums. They cried for no reason. They broke their stuff on purpose. Meanwhile, I tried to take charge. I tried to fix their bad behavior. I tried to keep the peace because I was a good egg. A very good egg. Nobody seemed to care, though. Every night I was exhausted. My head felt scrambled. Then one fateful morning, I noticed there were some cracks in my shell. They were everywhere. My doctor said it was from all the pressure I was putting on myself. The pressure of making sure everyone was as good as me. I was cracking up. Literally. Something had to change. I'd had enough. I told Meg and Peg and Greg and Clegg and Shell and Shelley and Sheldon and Shelby and Egbert and Frank and other Frank that I was leaving. I can't be the only good egg in a bad carton, I said. Blah, 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 they replied. I left that night. I wandered from town to town. The hours became days. The days became weeks. I lost track of time. I was alone out there on the road, under the stars. I really tried to focus on myself and what I needed. I took walks. I read books. I floated down the river. I wrote in my journal. I found simple moments to be quiet. I breathed in. I breathed out. I even started painting. For once, I found time for me. And guess what? Little by little, my cracks in my shell started to heal. My head no longer felt scrambled. I started to feel like myself again. So I made a big decision. I'm returning to my old carton and my friends. Besides, I'm kind of lonely. This time I know what to do. I'll try not to worry so much. I'll be good to my fellow eggs while also being good to myself.
back in the carton. Everybody missed me, and I missed them too. Hello, Meg. Howdy, Peg. Hey, Greg. Greetings, Clegg. What's up, Shell? Aloha, Shelly. Heyo, Sheldon. Hi, Shelby. Good eye, Egbert. What's happening, Frank? How do do, other Frank? Sure, every once in a while, somebody's still a bit bad, but it's not like it was before. Here's what I realized. The other eggs aren't perfect, and I don't have to be perfect either. And I'm okay with that. Yep, the old carton's back together. We're a solid dozen again. It's good to be home.
Every week, we take a good portion of our Sunday morning offering and give it away to a social justice cause outside our church walls. This month, we are supporting the good work of Evergreen Health Services. Evergreen Health fosters healthy communities by providing medical, supportive, and behavioral services to individuals and families in Western New York, especially those who are living with chronic illness or who are underserved by the healthcare system. They welcome everyone, celebrate diversity, collaborate with patients, use a harm reduction model, celebrate all successes, and respect everyone's life experiences without judgment. You can use PayPal by going to our website, www.buffalouu.org, and clicking on the blue Donate button. Or you can send a check by mail to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Buffalo, 695 Elmwood Ave, Buffalo, New York, 14222. You can also arrange a regular automatic deposit with your bank. If yours is a gift to our Share the Plate ministry, please write "Share" on the memo line, and it will be shared between Evergreen Health and the church operating budget. If yours is a welcome gift to our congregation, please write "Pledge 2020" on the memo line. Either way, please write UUCB on the important line, and we will do the bookkeeping. Our generosity can help heal the world.
Meine Ruhe ist hier, mein Herz ist schwer. Ich finde den Himmel und träume. Wo ich nicht es wird das Grau, die ganze Welt ist mir vergällt. Mein Kopf ist verrückt, mein Herz es wird zerstört. Meine Ruhe ist hier, mein Herz ist schwer. Ich finde den Himmel und träume. Nach Himmel schau ich zum Fenster hinaus. Nach Himmel geh ich aus dem Haus. Sein hohe Gang, sein edle Gestalt, seines Mutes Blicken, seiner Augen Gewalt und sein
Once upon a time, well, before I go into that, thank you, Beth. My goodness, what gifts we have, what richness we have in this congregation. Once upon a time, there was a seed, and this is her story.
I'm a bad seed. A bad seed. Oh, yeah, it's true. Other seeds, they look at me and they say, that seed is so bad. When they think I am not listening, they mumble,
There goes a bad seed.
but I can hear them. I've got good hearing for a seed. Mm-hmm. How bad am I? You really want to know? Well, I never put things back where they belong. I'm late for everything. I tell long, long jokes with no punchline. I never wash my hands or my feet. I lie about pointless stuff. I cut in line every time. I stare at everybody. I glare at everybody. I finish everybody's sentences and I never listen. And I do all other kinds of bad stuff too. Know why? Because I'm a bad seed. I'm a bad seed. I just can't help it. Sure, I wasn't always this bad. I was born a humble seed inside a simple pumpkin in an unremarkable pumpkin patch. Not a big family, seeds everywhere. We found ways of having fun together. We were close. But then one fateful October day, our pumpkin was ripped from the vine, sold to a family, and the family carved it into a jack-o'-lantern. They scooped out all of my friends and family while I clung desperately to the pumpkin wall in terror. Then I was all alone. At first, it wasn't so bad. The jack-o'-lantern was light and airy. There was room to stretch out. But as October became November, Halloween was over and done with. The jack-o'-lantern began to rot and get mushy and slimy and moldy. The family didn't want it on their front porch anymore, and they threw it and me in the trash. The trash. No seed belongs in the trash. At that moment, something changed in me. I'd become a different seed entirely. I'd become a bad seed. A bad seed. That's right. I climbed out of the garbage can. I stopped smiling. I kept to myself. I drifted. I was friend to nobody and bad to everybody. I was lost on purpose. I lived in an old soda can, and I didn't care. It suited me until recently. I made a big decision. I've decided I don't want to be a bad seed anymore. I'm ready to be happy. It's hard to be good when you so used to being bad, but I'm trying. I'm taking it one day at a time. Sure, I still forget to listen. and I still show up late, and I still talk during the movies and do all kinds of other bad stuff. But I also say thank you, and I say please, and I smile and hold doors open for people, not always, but sometimes. And even though I still feel bad sometimes, I also feel kind of good, sort of a mix. All I can do is keep trying and keep thinking that maybe I'm not such a bad seed after all. Now, when I hear a seed say, hey, look, there goes that bad seed, I hear others say, actually, she's not that bad anymore. And I sure hear that. I've said it once, and I will say it again and again. When it comes to caring, first take care of yourself. Then take care of your family, whoever you consider them to be, and then take care of everything else. I'm not sure there's any way to get through this era of political discord, white supremacy, pandemic, climate change, and social isolation without intentionally focusing on our spiritual, physical, and mental health, especially as we enter winter, right? The days will get shorter, and we will feel even more confined to these shrinking spaces between our walls. So take deep and intentional care of yourselves. If you don't care for yourself, you really can't help anyone or anything else. My worst year in the ministry, I thought I was indispensable. I was a good egg, a very good egg. I started working through all my days off because, I had to, and long into each night because I thought my work was so important. And I wasn't happy with the staff or the committees, but I knew I had to devote everything I had to this poor, sick congregation to save the church and, yes, to save the faith. It all rested on my shoulders. What a weight. And as you can imagine, after a while, the pressure began to get a little high. My brain got scrambled and I began cracking up, shattering. And then I was fired. I was fired because, in spite of all the sacrifice, I wasn't caring well for the church at all. I'd become overtired, erratic, and reactive. Getting fired hurt a lot. I felt betrayed. I felt I'd been tossed out with the trash. And today, though I have recovered some and tried to learn from my mistakes and chosen happiness over bitterness, I still feel and act bad sometimes. I also feel pretty good. And you guys are a big part of that. It's all sort of a mix. And I guess that's part of the human adventure. If you're a good egg and you're always trying to fix other people's bad behavior, you'll never tend to your own wounds. And if you're a bad seed, constantly acting out of your pain, resentment, and regret, you will never heal. If we are to mend our wounds, each of us needs to make big decisions. We need to do the work. We need to intentionally care for ourselves, and we need to find ourselves worthy of joy.
Nobody else can make you whole. They can only help as you begin the journey. Let's join in singing. There is a balm in Gilead.
There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. Sometimes I feel discouraged and think my work's in vain, but then the Holy Spirit revives my soul again. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul. If you cannot preach like Peter, if you cannot pray like Paul, you can tell the love of Jesus and say he died for all. There is a balm in Gilead to make the wounded whole. There is a balm in Gilead to heal the sin-sick soul.
Today's reading is titled Love Abundant by Alicia R. Ford. I lift my eyes up to the hills. From where will my help come? My help comes from love abundant. My help comes from the hills. My help, my help. It comes from ancient mothers whose hearts beat in mine. It comes from the trees that sway and the breeze that sways them. My help comes from all that was and is and will ever be. I lift my eyes, hushed by the soothing touch of waves, caressing wounded shores, wounded souls. I lift my eyes to the horizon, bathed by the hum of mothers and mothers' mothers, cradling, gently rocking. I lift my voice, call of the sea, trees, sister moon, mother earth, my soul weeping, a symphony of life overflowing. I give myself, I too hum through every pore, with every breath. I give myself, an extension of all that is, was, and ever will be.
Let's join our hearts and minds in a quiet moment of prayer, reflection, and meditation. In this moment of worship, we call to mind those times of failure and regret common to us all. We remember first in silence. We remember first the times we have failed to do all that we meant to do, or through our actions failed to be all we were meant to be. We recall our moments of integrity, those times we have lived into our deepest values and acted as the human beings we always dreamed of being. Let us now, at this moment, lay down the burden of our shortcomings. Let us grasp the courage to begin anew. Together, we affirm our capacity for goodness and grace, for freedom and purpose and joy. We are not trapped in our past, but freed by creation to live and grow today. Today, we especially hold in our hearts Tom Petrozelli and Karen Jarvis, who are both recovering from surgery this week. And our hearts are with Tracy Casman's family. Tracy's niece, Dr. Metava Whitmore, was diagnosed with COVID-19 on Thursday. And now let us open our worship space to the names of all our loved ones suffering in sorrow and celebrating in joy. Each name a breath, each breath a prayer. The breath of nature is upon us. The spirit of life is with us. The community of love is among us. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen.
In the Midst of a World by Rebecca Parker. In the midst of a world marked by tragedy and beauty, there must be those who bear witness against unnecessary destruction and who with faith rise and lead in freedom with grace and power. There must be those who speak honestly and do not avoid seeing what must be seen of sorrow and outrage or tenderness and wonder. There must be those whose grief troubles the water while their voices sing and speak refreshed worlds. There must be those whose exuberance rises with lovely energy that articulates earth's joys. There must be those who are restless for respectful and loving companionship among human beings, whose presence invites people to be themselves without fear. There must be those who gather with the congregation of remembrance and compassion, draw water from old wells, and walk the simple path of love for neighbor. And there must be communities of people who seek to do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with God, who call on the strength of soul force to heal, transform, and bless life. There must be religious witness.
Nobody can make you whole. They can only help as you begin the journey, but there's more to it than that, isn't there? Nobody else can make you whole, but we can help each other. And we need each other if we are ever to heal our collective woundedness. We need each other if we are ever to heal our collective woundedness. The world's not going to rest quiet in this era of political discord, white supremacy, pandemic, climate change, and social isolation. The wounds are just going to get deeper and uglier if we remain paralyzed in our pain. Our broken and imperfect world, our world so full of self harming good eggs and wounded bad seeds, and everybody in between, our world is calling us to heal our whole community. We, in our pain and our fear, we are the ones we've been waiting for. It's time to bear witness against unnecessary destruction and with faith, rise to lead in freedom with grace and power. We are called to be a prophethood of all believers, to interpret the times, to speak honestly of our sorrow and outrage and our tenderness and wonder. If we're going to heal the world, we need to be visionaries. So allow your very real grief to trouble the waters while you sing and speak a refreshed world into being. For heaven's sake, choose happiness over bitterness. Let your exuberance rise with lovely energy that articulates earth joys. Dance, write, bake, make music, be playful, create beauty to feed the soul of the world. We are called to be people of healing with a love so fierce, a love so abundant that we leave no quarter for hatred or oppression. Together we can heal our collective wounds through respectful and loving companionship, embracing everyone exactly as they are and where they are. This abundant love thing, I'll tell you, it's no joke. It also isn't a finite thing. Love waxes and wanes as we participate in its healing power. And there is yet again another truth, a deeper truth. There's always this deeper truth that keeps hanging around. As I said before, when it comes to caring, first take care of yourself. Then take care of your family, whoever you consider them to be. And then take care of everything else. The deeper truth is that you and everything else are one and the same. You and everything else are one and the same. To the symphony of life overflowing, I give myself. I too hum through every pore. With every breath, I give myself an extension of all that is, was, and ever will be. Let's join in singing What Wondrous Love.
Please join in the words for extinguishing the chalice as shown on your screen. As we extinguish the flame of this chalice, may we carry its light with us into the world in the power of peace, faith, justice, and love.
My beloveds, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We aren't perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. May we love so abundantly and with such ferocity, power, and grace that our collective tomorrow grows into health and happiness. Remember, you are blessed. Remember, you are a blessing. And above all else, remember, you are not alone. You are never alone. So be it. Blessed be. And let the church say, Amen.